Hey everyone, it's the Vitality Junkie here, and welcome to part 2 of this 10-part series on intuitive eating. If you haven't already, please be sure to watch video 1 where we talk about what intuitive eating actually is, and we cover principle 1, reject the diet mentality. In this video, we're going to talk about principle 2, which is honor your hunger. So let me share this analogy with you to see if it resonates with you. So how many of us, and I speak from experience, so I'm able to share this, how many of you go to work and spend your days rushing around, you're going from meeting to meeting, you're checking your phone, you're checking your emails, you're working on all your projects, not paying attention to what your body's telling you, and then all of a sudden you're hangry and you need to eat now. So you go to the cafeteria, you eat, you stuff yourself with food, and then all of a sudden you feel absolutely full and absolutely gross. Well, that's because we're not paying attention to our hunger and our satiety cues that our body naturally is able to do. So what actually happens, it's actually a mind-body connection. And for most of us, when we're feeling hungry, it's because a hormone has been released in our stomach called ghrelin, and it sends a signal to our brain to tell us we're hungry. And that's usually the first signs of hunger. But most of us wait until we start to feel the other signs like irritability and feeling really hungry and losing concentration and losing focus. So we don't listen to those first subtle signs of hunger, like maybe our stomach's starting to feel a little bit empty and like we need food. And then when our body is full, it releases a hormone called leptin from the fat cells. So this is why it's so important that we have fat in our diet, because for processes like this where it stores leptin, and then the leptin is released and it sends a signal to our brain that we're full. Well, when we're going through that experience of feeling hangry and stuffing ourselves with food, we're not giving our body enough time to release the leptin to tell our minds that we're full, and then all of a sudden we start to feel full. We eat so quickly that our body doesn't have time to catch up to tell us that we're full. And then that's when we get to feeling that over fullness. And this is why diets don't work as well, because it doesn't have us being in tune with our hunger and satiety cues. If you're on a diet, you're telling yourself maybe that you can only eat at certain times of the day. So when you start to feel hunger, you're telling yourself, well, I might start to feel hungry right now, but it's not time to eat because my salad was meant to be eaten at 1 o'clock. And so it's 10 o'clock right now and I'm not eating till 1 o'clock. And so now you're ignoring that hunger cue, and then, or you're even ignoring your fullness cue or your satiety cue when you're eating that little tiny piece of salad, and even though you're still hungry and your body's telling you, hey, you're not full yet, you're stopping yourself from eating because you're on a diet and you've told yourself you can't eat anymore, but your body's saying, wait a second, we still need food, we're still hungry. So diets tend to have us ignore those natural signs in our bodies that tell us when we're hungry and when we're full. So how do you honor your hunger? Step 1, reject the diet mentality. And because your body always needs to know that it's always going to eat and there's always going to be food available when it's hungry. So that's number 1, reject the diet mentality. Number 2, awaken your hunger. So don't fill it with things like sodas or coffees. You know, having a cup of coffee is okay, but drinking coffee all day long or filling it with pop or soda, or living in distraction, as I said, we tend to keep ourselves so busy with being on our phones and running around from meeting to meeting that we're ignoring our hunger cues. So awaken your hunger by not living in distraction and by not filling your body with like sodas and coffees. And that requires step 3, which is practicing mindfulness. And I talk a lot about practicing mindfulness because I feel like when you're paying attention to the present moment, you're able to have so much more clarity in the moment. So even if it's just for a brief moment, bringing mindfulness and being present for just a moment to say, okay, what's my body telling me right now? Am I thirsty? Am I hungry? Do I need to eat? And then, okay, not hungry right now, and then keep doing what you're doing. But we need to make sure that we're practicing mindfulness once in a while so we can pay attention to those cues, those early signs and those early cues when our body's telling us, hey, it's time to eat now. And Step 4 is as soon as you feel hungry, eat. Don't wait because it's not time. I have a routine in my life now where I know that I'm going to have breakfast at a certain time, and then I'm going to eat my snack at around roughly the same time every day, and my lunch and my afternoon snack and my dinner. And so if it's snack time is around 10 o'clock, but I'm feeling hungry at 9:30, I eat at 9:30. I don't wait until 10 o'clock because that's the time to eat. Eat when your body tells you you're hungry. Step 5, if you can't read the signs, so if you've been ignoring your hunger signals for so long that you can't read the signs, do what I do then and just wake up, have breakfast within kind of the hour after waking up, and then eat every 3 to 4 hours after that until you start to be able to read those signs. Step 6 is be flexible and plan for it. So if you know that you have back-to-back meetings on a particular day, let's say you have a meeting from 12 to 2, but you know that you need to have lunch somewhere in that time. If you don't have time, bring a snack, have a snack right before you go into the meeting, and then plan for your lunch right after. Really think about and be deliberate and say, okay, when am I thinking I'm gonna get hungry? How can I make sure that I'm not starving by the time I come out of this meeting? And also pay attention. If you know that you're hangry and you're eating, make sure that you stop yourself once in a while and pay attention to your satiety cues to see if they eventually start to kick in rather than scarfing that food down and eating quickly. And then number 7 is to, similar to step 6, is to have snack and have food available. So make sure that when you're at home or even at work, plan to have snacks at work. I always meal plan. I pack for snacks throughout my day. I also bring my lunch to work. You might have a cafeteria, which is fine. But also plan to make sure that you have food when you get home. If you didn't have an afternoon snack at work, make sure that you have something healthy that you can go to when you get home. There's nothing worse than getting home, being hungry, and then trying to make dinner while you're starving. So you always want to make sure that you have food available and that you pack those snacks for the times where you are hungry. So those are the 7 steps to honoring your hunger.